Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I am Sarah, the host of your show today, and you are on the Unscripted Real Estate Show. Welcome. It's Wednesday. It's 1 o'clock. This is what we do. We show up. We're experts, and we are helping out our fellow buyers and sellers. So welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome, Sarah. It's lovely to see your beautiful face, and of course, all of our experts here as well. I'm super excited to get started.
Martha, who do we have here today? What's going on in the room?
Yeah, so today we have our experts. We have a special guest here attending, and I'd like to start off by introducing myself. My name is Martha Aguilar. For almost a decade, I assisted the leaders of tomorrow, our children. Since October of 2020, I transitioned to serving the leaders of today. I'm owner of Realty VA, a virtual assistant agency, as well as co-founder and leader of I Am Community, an online community of women empowerment. I virtually assist the JS Realty team through transaction management and all things marketing. And a fun fact about myself, I had to think harder because I've already given I have 52 cousins last week, last week. So I can't repeat that one. And this isn't like a fun fact. This is more of an embarrassing fact. I failed my written driver's exam 7 times. Written, not drivers, written. Okay, 7 times.
Martha, wait, let me get this straight. Should I or should I not ride in the car with you?
You should. I'm a great driver. It was the written exam that I failed.
Okay.
And then I passed the driver's test 1 try. That's how you know I'm a good driver.
Yes.
And now I don't even use my car, like ever. I don't think I've stepped outdoors in like 5 days. So I never use my car now.
We talked about this, and just because you probably don't know, she's got the beautiful city in her background, but quite literally, I'm sure if she walked out her door, she would be looking directly at downtown Manhattan. So
I see the Empire State Building from here, so you are right.
Nice. Right on. So there are people in this world who have no need to drive. I understand.
That is somewhat of a fun fact about myself, but moving on, we have the show producer, Jenna Charpentier. Jenna started working at the age of 7 in Hollywood, California, appearing in several commercials, TV shows, a movie, and whatever stage she could find. Jenna is an artistic, headstrong Latina and is often referred to as the brains of the operation. Very true. For whatever task she sets her sights on. Jenna is currently trying to convince her husband and 2 children that they need to take a vacation in Europe before the end of 2022. Moving on, we have our expert realtor, Beth Dunn. She is a Northern Virginia OG, having grown up in Loudoun County. So she's watched this area grow and change quite a bit. Beth is a powerhouse realtor, owns an investment property, and is the director of Samson Property Management. So her expertise comes from years of professional and personal experience. She's also a huge foodie and is teaching her adorable 2-year-old daughter to appreciate the finer things like bacon and cheese. Next, we have Chris Madison. Coach Chris is also a Northern Virginia OG and grew up in Falls Church City. As a former college athlete, Chris takes a coach role with his clients, so he's able to successfully guide them through their real estate transactions. He is also a girl dad to 2 beautiful teenagers who also have a big, big love for sports. Next, we have realtor Linda Chandler. Linda got her start in Northern Virginia as well and has been an active member of the Falls Church City community for almost 20 years. Linda has a background in hospitality, which has proven useful in the real estate industry. She has become a concierge to her clients. They can come to her for anything, and they do. No one roots harder for the Washington Capitals than Linda does, and she's currently planning a tropical adventure with her 3 kids. Expert realtor Jeff Taylor. Yet another Nova OG. Jeff is our triple threat expert realtor, licensed Class A contractor, and director of Samson Property Management. Jeff is passionate about finding his clients quality properties for great values. And in all seriousness, you will not find a more diligent and ethical human. He's also a dedicated and loyal Washington sports fan, so much so that his dog was named after the Nats outfielder, Juan Soto. Next, we have our expert, Katie Hickey. She's the co-founder of the Simmons team at Caliber Home Loans. Katie was born into a family of builders, developers, brokers, and loan officers right here in Northern Virginia. And it's no wonder she's become a driving force in the lending world. She has lifelong clients and is dedicated to helping people achieve the American dream of home ownership. We're not sure she sleeps either, especially since she's welcoming her 4th child just over a month ago. Next, we have expert Alyssa Maloney, also from the Simmons team. Alyssa is from sunny Southern California, having moved to Northern Virginia just about 4 years ago. Since joining the Simmons team, Alyssa has helped them consistently break sales records and works hard to help current and future homeowners with their financing needs. Alyssa is a mom of 2 lovely humans and 3 canines. Next,
Okay, I have a fun fact to ask Alyssa.
Oh,
yes.
Alyssa, fun fact, do we still have glitter in the hair?
I don't, but both my girls do. Well, my youngest pulled a couple strands out, but she's working on hanging on to the last 3 strands.
you're mute, Sarah.
Well, I was going to say, first off, her youngest is absolutely adorable. Not that they both are not, but we were at a little birthday party this weekend where glitter was being put into hair. I was actually in line. I did not get any, unfortunately, but I was very envious of her sweet 2-year-old who sat completely still, did not move an inch. And that was probably for 10 minutes, which is a miracle.
She was an angel. Yep. I was very
Wait, is she 2?
She's 2.5.
2.5. She's still cute, guys. And I'm actually very impressed that there is still any glitter in her hair, because
Thank you.
if I was 2, I'd be wanting to pull it out and chew on it and play with it.
I'm pretty impressed with her too.
Yeah.
That
Sorry,
is
had to throw
amazing.
that in, couldn't resist.
Yes, well, that is very, very sweet. And thank you for sharing that, Alyssa. Next, we have Sarah Yasi. She is the Client Relations and Marketing Director for the Simmons team. Back to the Northern Virginia OGs, Sarah was born and raised in Herndon into a family with real estate, mortgage, and construction industry ties. She's tried to do something different by becoming a master hair colorist and stylist for 15 years, but inevitably became involved in the family construction company and is now happily part of the Simmons team. Sarah tries to keep up with her 2 kids and all their activities and has developed a love for cooking and pairing wines. Last but not least, we have our host of the show, Miss Sarah King-Taylor, award-winning realtor, business owner, entrepreneur, real estate marketing consultant, career development coach, philanthropist, podcaster, author, wife, fur baby, mom, and is the proud owner of the top producing JS Realty team. She's on a quest to make herself a household name, recently appearing as an industry expert on Bloomberg TV, CNBC, and the Travel Channel. Sarah calls herself a matchmaker, and we could not agree more. Her proudest achievement is her successful matchup between the National Association of Realtors with the American Foundation for the Blind. Matching these 2 incredible entities will create awareness, access, and opportunities within the real estate industry for blind and visually impaired individuals. Wow, do we have a group here?
We do have a group here, and it looks like we lost Luke. Luke was here to ask a couple of real estate questions. I don't know if he lost connection, but we are trying to reach out to him. In the meantime, I want to tell you a little bit about why we're here and what we're up to on this show. Why we're here is we are here as a group of experts from Northern Virginia specifically to answer all of your real estate questions, whether you're a seller, a buyer, an investor, or potentially just a homeowner remodeling your home. You may have questions that relate to whether or not you should remodel your home or sell it as is. Maybe you have a question about what the current interest rates are doing and where they're headed. You possibly also might have a burning question about what it would look like for you to invest in real estate and actually pass that on as your legacy for generations to come. So what we're going to do today is open up the floor for a question. And if Luke is not here, we do have another question that came up this week that I'd love to get the panel to answer. And since I don't see Luke back on the call yet,
I do see Luke. Luke is.
There's Luke. Hi.
Hey,
How are
how's it
you?
going?
Welcome.
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for sending the text. I don't know. It says that there's already a meeting in progress, so
Oh,
it wasn't letting me
interesting.
in. As in, like, there was another one waiting. It's fine. Hello.
Hello. You
Hello,
know, Luke,
Luke.
I had that same issue today too. So it sounds like we're standing in a similar position. So we'll look into that. Thank you. May I ask you a question?
Sure. What's going on?
Is that your headshot?
No, that's Rex Harrison. You probably know him from like My Fair Lady.
Ah, there you go. Is this your hero?
No, but there's so many platforms with profile shots. It's like a struggle to figure like what should I use, and so I use this across all platforms. If you
I
see
love
this,
it.
it's me. It's
Yeah, it
a
looks,
logo.
I like that. That looks like a lot of fun. Well, Luke, we just finished introductions with the whole group. Sorry, we missed you on that, but you're probably wondering why you're here today.
Not really, but yeah, sure,
Okay.
go ahead.
Well, what we're going to do is open the room for you to ask a question. We do have a role player today, and that role player is actually going to be our co-host, Martha. And what Martha is going to do is pretty much kind of pretend like, I don't know, your know-it-all Uncle Pete, who knows everything about real estate at the barbecue and wanting to answer all your questions, or any sort of search engine. She can be Google, she could be Safari. You're basically going to ask your question and hope and wonder whether or not the information you get is either truth, lie, or maybe a little bit of truth and maybe not completely accurate. Once you're done asking your question and Martha, your role player, has answered, we'll ask the room of experts what the real answer to the question is. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Awesome.
I could be Uncle Pete, or I could be Auntie Susan, or whatever, whatever you'd like to call me. But yes, I am the role player. Please keep in mind, I am not an expert, so I fit into this role perfectly.
Yes,
And I'm ready when you are, Luke.
Sure. There's a lot of other folks. I guess I don't know if I want to take away everyone else's time. I think primarily what I'm looking for is non-traditional loans, and how to use those to acquire residential property, like up to like a 4-unit. So I don't really know much about commercial, but because I don't know, 5+ doors. So I don't really know much about that space. So what can you tell me about finding funding for multi-unit residential?
Luke, that's a great question. And my response to you would be reach out to your preferred loaner. They have all the information that you need, and especially in the area that you're looking to invest in. And I think you mentioned commercial, but whether it's residential or commercial, going to the nearest office where, preferred expert loaner, perhaps the Simmons team, I would suggest. They would give you all the information that you need with variety of loans, whatever is best fits your needs, your preferences. And yeah, definitely loan, go there. That would be my answer. Is there any other follow-up question for you, Luke? And by the way, today this is your space, so you do have space to ask.
No, I mean, primarily, I'm looking for my next income producing property. I'm transitioning away from the military, so income verification would be an issue, especially because there's been a gap since November. I sold my house, so I've got, enough to put down 15-20%, but finding funding that isn't going to look necessarily directly at income verification is my biggest barrier right now.
Great question. And definitely you're not the only one who's gone through that. So yes, my biggest and best answer for you would be reach out to the Simmons team. experts who can give you the answers, who can definitely help you, and I'm sure they will. So I think that is that's my final answer. And yes.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to listening to everyone else's questions.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I am going to throw this out to the room. Chris, what do you think about the validity of that answer? Do you think it's true? Do you think it was fake news? Do we think partially right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm a realtor and I definitely like to stay in my lane. But the first step, and I know that Luke knows this, we've talked a little bit, is getting in contact with a realtor, or excuse me, a lender, and not only a lender, but a lender that you can have a personal touch with, that you can really dive into some various scenarios about. Obviously, Luke has some interesting ideas as far as how he wants to expand his portfolio and build his business. But getting with a lender that really knows the market, knows all of the different potential loan instruments that are available to him is definitely going to be that first step.
Well, Luke, you are in luck today. We have Alyssa on the call, and she is with the Simmons team and ready to answer your questions. So we're putting you directly in touch with the expert who can take care of answering that for you. What say
Very
you,
cool.
Alyssa?
Hi, Luke. So that was a great question. And, if you were to bring that scenario to us as one of the preferred lenders that works with the JS Realty team, we would definitely advise you that when you're looking at a multi-unit property, anything above 5 units is going to be a commercial loan. So you'll want to work with a commercial lender. Some of the bigger banks are most likely going to be able to assist you with that. But as a residential lender, we have a multitude of products available for not only single family homes, but multi dwelling units as well. And not all of our products require income verification. We just rolled out, I think maybe not even 3 months ago, some investor portfolio products that don't require income validation. The basis behind these programs is to open the door for people who want to dive into investment properties, but don't necessarily have the cash flow from standard employment to validate their debt ratios. So what we do instead under these portfolio programs is look at the cash flow on the property that's looking to be purchased. So we would compare the projected rental income, and that would include all 4 units if you're looking at a 4-unit property, against the proposed mortgage payment, which would include taxes, insurance, and if applicable, any homeowners or property owners association dues. But as long as the cash flow equals 100% or more of the proposed mortgage payment, then you're pretty much in a good position to get approved for this loan. There's not a whole lot of hoops to jump through with this particular product. And as far as closing times, we're within the standard wheelhouse of 25 to 30 days. We could even accommodate sooner closings if needed, if it's a competitive situation.
That's incredible. No doc loan for investment, pretty unique.
Yeah, the most documents we would need would be a photocopy of your ID. We would need to pull credit. And we would need to verify the assets for the down payment, and that's pretty much it. There's no income verification whatsoever.
Awesome.
That sounds great.
Luke, does that kind of fit what you're looking for? I know that there was a little bit of, you're between things. So how's that sounding?
No, I may have misspoke. What I was saying about commercial is that I'm not interested in commercial. That I realized that commercial is 5 doors and beyond, and that commercial is a world I'm not necessarily familiar with. Also, when I sold my house, I got my VA loan back, and I would want something that's eligible either for a VA loan or for, and again, perhaps I don't know what I'm talking about, but maybe refining through FHA or something like that. Once I was eligible for that. Either way, just increase the value of the property. I used to be a general contractor, flipped houses back when that was a thing. So I'm comfortable with my ability to improve a property. But just, yeah, I mean, it sounds like, you know, I'm not looking for a deal that's going to lose anyway. So I would expect that it would be, that it would meet those requirements as far as meeting its bills, you know, that the income would cover the bills. I'd probably even extend it to allowing for, you know, some vacancy, to make sure that we're covering our costs. So yeah, it'll be a hunt in this market, but you know, I'm ready for it.
And certainly not impossible. There are plenty of properties out there that they're not options for first-time home buyers or people who don't have cash for reinvesting into the property and fixing it up. May I ask you a question, Luke?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
It sounded like you have the option to use your 100% VA loan because you cleared that out by selling the last house. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it also sounded like that you would buy a property, live in it, remodel it, and then look to do something different.
I'd probably let the deal sort of dictate. I actually have an apartment that I just moved into that's fantastic. You know, if I did move into a place, you know, I obviously wouldn't be committing fraud or anything, but I would definitely probably split my time between that. So it's not a requirement. I'm not, you know, desperate for a house right now.
I hear you. Alyssa, can you share with us a little bit about the VA requirements? This is where I was kind of trying to lead the conversation in some opportunities that might be available for Luke in using that program.
Absolutely. So the VA is, well, it's a great program, first of all, for veterans. It does allow for the 0% down, like Sarah was saying. So as long as your entitlement has been restored, which it sounds like it has been with the sale of your previous residence, we could qualify you as 0% down. Now, with the VA, there are some stipulations. You will have to go through income verification. But the program is pretty lenient when it comes to debt to income ratios. So whereas most products would cap you at a 50% debt ratio or sometimes even 43% debt ratio, I have seen the VA approve loans with a 75% debt ratio as long as you have, yeah, I know, it's nuts.
I made a face for those of you who can't see me.
I got 60 on the property I had.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So I mean, as long as you have the residual income, and it can get a bit confusing. There's a specific calculation for residual income. There's a ratio that we have to meet, but there's a guideline that the VA puts out. As long as you meet that ratio or reserve requirement with the residual income, you're more than likely going to get approved for a VA loan. Whereas with most other products, you're capped, like I said, at that 43 or 50% debt ratio. So it allows for you to maybe buy more of a house than you had initially thought you could afford. The only other thing with VA is you can't use it to buy second homes or investment properties. They have to be owner occupied. And that whatever qualifies it as being owner occupied is you just have to live in the property half the year. So if you're occupying the property for at least 185 days a year, give or take, then you can definitely use your VA benefits.
Sure, and you can swap around the unit that you're using, and what else? I think you only have to meet that requirement for a year. It might be 3.
Correct.
I know for sure it's 1 year.
Occupancy affidavit that you sign at settlement, it does say a year. However, we all know that things can happen at a moment's notice. Life is full of surprises. So even if you sign
it's just the first half of the year, or I think there's 52 weekends. So 52 times 3. Yeah.
There you go. Then you would.
I love it. Luke is getting creative over here. We love creative people. That is what we are all about. I love it. I love it. Well, Luke, it sounds like you have lots of options available to you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if I had the income verification based on the income I had while I was active, which was around what I can expect to make on the civilian side, I got pre-qualified from Penn Fed for $850 for a 4-unit in Arlington. I don't know that I could find a 4-unit for $850 in Arlington. You know, but there's options. If we can find something that's non-VA or with the intention to refi once do a balloon loan and refinance. I mean, I'm somewhat aware of the options that are out there. We could go after a property in a smaller market with more room to improve. I was looking at a lot of opportunities that were like off base. A veteran owned property would have a benefit over one that wasn't, like outside of Fort Bragg in North Carolina. There's a lot of options. In fact, I've even seen houses packaged. They're so cheap. You get a couple of $60,000 houses, put them together and sell them as a package. There's a lot of options out there as long as I can partner with the right lender.
Partnering with the right lender is key, and getting real-time, up-to-date information is key. I always say yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure after you finish, Linda did have something to say earlier, and I wanted to make sure she has. Nope.
No, I love that. Definitely getting your information, real time is key, because I always say when it comes to the lending world, I am always grateful for Alyssa's and Sarah's and Katie's of the world, because every morning they wake up, something is different in their industry. And while we have a lot of change in real estate, I don't know that it's changing that fast on a daily basis. So I admire you ladies for keeping up with all of the trends, and it is critical and uniquely important to be in touch with experts who are in the market that you're looking in and who know all about what you're inquiring about. So thank you for that amazing question, Luke. And Linda, you had some feedback to add. I would love to hear from you.
Sorry, I actually had a question for Alyssa when she was talking about the loan program for investors, as to how much you needed to put down to qualify if it was just based on the property's income.
That's a great question.
Good question.
I believe it's 20%, but I know that for some investor programs, you can go as little as 15% down. I will double check the product guidelines for this particular program. I do want to say that it is 20%, and you're definitely going to get a better interest rate with the more down payment you go. But if you're tight on cash, I believe the minimum is 20%. I will check on that and circle back with you, Linda, though.
Great, thank you.
I do have a very modern question, I suppose.
Oh, we love modern.
As far as where the money comes from, I know you can get gifts from family up to a certain amount. What is the theory or thought around leveraging my crypto investment? I've actually got about as much in crypto as I have in cash, and you're allowed to borrow against it at pretty good rates. Would I be able to leverage my portfolio, or would that be considered like some sort of conflict of interest as far as financing?
That is a great question. Crypto is just so new. The agencies, and by agencies, I mean namely Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they oversee most lending activity across the country. So every mortgage lender is going to have to abide by product guidelines, but they have recognized cryptocurrency as assets. They're still working on figuring out how to use those assets, but the guidelines that have been passed down in the past year have been, we can use cryptocurrency as long as we can source the original investment. So if you originally deposited into a crypto account, maybe 6 months ago, as long as we can go back and track the original investment, and then going forward, source the liquidation and moving it into a liquid account, such as a checking or savings, it's perfectly fine, perfectly legal. We can definitely consider that as part of your available assets for down payment and closing costs.
So, okay, let me be a little more specific. I know that sometimes people will do this against like their life insurance policy or their stock portfolio, which I know you have to do it for profits from stock portfolio, but you can actually get a loan from whoever holds your assets. So yep. I have a crypto wallet. I was like, hey, give me a loan. They lock up some of my crypto, so I can't keep it. There's actually when it crashed, I got a margin call they're like, at this rate, here's what you were quoted, but now that now that your Bitcoin's worth less, you have to add to the pile. But yeah, so I was able to get cash as it related to, so are we on the same page? It sounds like you're
Yeah,
agreeing.
absolutely.
So I don't have to liquidate. Okay.
Yeah, and that is something that we actually deal with on a regular basis. I have had clients in the past take loans, or I guess they can be considered bridge loans, but they're loans against the stocks. And typically, it's more typical with investment accounts and mutual funds, such as Charles Schwab or the Marcus, Goldman Sachs.
Sure.
But I can't imagine why crypto would be any different. That's something I can definitely ask my underwriter to just make sure 100% that it's something that we consider. But as long as we can document where the liquid funds came from, there should be some sort of transaction history that's provided once you do take the loan. My thought is that it should be treated the same as any other type of mutual fund loan or stock loan.
Sure. No, that's no problem. It actually hasn't moved around much. It's just straight from checking to wallet, and then to coins.
Perfect. Yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to use that then.
That's awesome.
Thanks for asking that question, Luke. I had not thought about that, and I think that's just a really, like you said, modern question and very unique. So
well, especially now that it's taxed, you know what I mean? It's like, it's no longer just some weird, wacky asset that only nerds think is worth anything. Yeah, now that I have to pay tax on it, good gravy.
The agencies love things that can be taxed. So yeah, there's definitely, I think that there's some weight behind that. And especially with these new regulations that are being imposed by the Biden administration, I think that moving forward in the future, we're going to see more investors open up to the idea of using crypto.
One thing to think about, and this is not relevant to me necessarily, but I'm getting into the NFT space. And one of the things to consider there is that is another investment. You know what I mean? If you're asking someone about the coins just for confirmation, that is another portfolio asset that is a little bit more risky, I guess, because it's kind of worth what someone says. But I suppose you could take a loan against your art, right? Like if you had a Picasso, there's someone out there that would lend you against it.
That's definitely something that we can look into. I'll ask my senior underwriter about it. NFT would kind of fall along the same line as crypto. It's a pretty new concept, but if it's something that can be documented and turned into liquid assets, I don't see a reason why we wouldn't be able to consider it. But being that it's so new, I know that the agencies have definitely talked about crypto, not necessarily NFTs, but I can pick my underwriter's brain and get an answer to you, definitely.
The NFT thing isn't directly for me. It's just that if someone's asking about coins, they're probably eventually going to ask about something else random that they have of not insignificant value. Some of these things are worth quite a bit, but it's speculative. I don't know. Like I said, it's sort of like art. It's like a Basquiat is worth something, but how much is sort of up to who knows who.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Luke, what I heard from you today was that you are looking for multi-door properties that potentially need renovation in the Northern Virginia area and potentially other states. Is that correct?
Yeah, Northern Virginia is ideal. If I'm going to rely on myself for any amount of the improvement or increase in the valuation of the property, I'd want to be able to get there easily. I wouldn't want to have to ship myself out to North Carolina for 8 months or 6 months or whatever while I redo the plumbing and the driveway. But yeah, Northern Virginia is ideal.
Okay. All right, great. So just everybody here on the call, if you come across something, please reach out to Chris. Chris is actively helping Luke look, but we all are always coming across things, Luke. So we will keep you in the know as we come across properties that might be an option for you, possibly even prior to getting them on the market.
Absolutely. And if there's anyone that that's an owner and maybe they're not getting what they want out of their tenants or whatever, talk to me about Airbnb. It would need to be a conversation about whether or not that property is going to be able to produce, the kind of money that they would want as opposed to a long-term rental. But that's another space of my portfolio that I'm that I'm creating is, especially right now, just working with landlords to see if we can, get them more income based on short-term rentals, or and not even just Airbnb, but travel nurses. Travel nurses are taking short-term contracts, 3 to 6 months. So, and they're able to pay and willing to pay higher rents. So that's something that I'm working in. If you guys have anyone in your Rolodex, which is kind of an antiquated word now, but anyone in your network, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. And what kind of services are you offering for short-term rentals?
Pretty much everything. As long as I can get, the property and we can come to an agreement that's on paper and that works for both of us. I have the assets for furnishing the place. I'm actually a super host. I'm also a super host on Turo, but that's a whole different business. So, I have documented success with bringing in income for myself from Airbnb. And, like I said, I can talk to someone, it might not be the right fit. You know what I mean? If you're out in Fairfax, I don't know how much I can get you, right? If you're not accessible to a hotel or anything like that. But, my place was right off the Yellow Line, and there was a bus that dropped you off at the White House. I had pretty constant guest traffic, and was able to make about $40,000 a year off of 1 bedroom. So I actually shared the house. I had my spare bedroom on Airbnb. I made about $40,000 a year.
Wow, that's amazing. So are you saying that you would like to talk to owners that are looking to partner with you in some sort of co-ownership with services that you would provide?
Pretty much, yeah. We could agree on, typically the agreement that I'll come to is that, we get 2 months that are, rent free, but we'll add that into the rest of like a yearly contract. So basically I'm renting the place, really, if you wanted to think about it in more traditional terms. I will offer you an agreed upon monthly amount, and above that I keep, but you're getting that amount regardless. And I can show, the finances to back that up.
Wonderful. I love that. What a unique opportunity. I think you're in a room full of experts, and so I'm sure we're all absorbing that and our wheels are spinning. Luke, would you do us a favor and drop your contact information in the chat, just in case we do come across something? Of course, we'll reach out to Chris, but would love to have your direct contact information. And we want to share
Absolutely.
our contact information with you. It is also in the chat, and that is Meet the Experts link. So
Okay,
if you're
cool,
looking
thanks.
to connect with Alyssa or Sarah or Katie from the Simons Group, then you're going to find their information and their direct contact information on that link.
Okay.
And I would love to encourage you or anyone else to follow us or follow the Simons Group on Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn, of course, and check us out weekly. We have an every Wednesday show at 1 o'clock and every Thursday at 2 o'clock. We are open to buyers and sellers joining us, asking their deepest puzzling questions. Luke was the perfect candidate today. So I want to thank you, Luke, for joining our show, asking amazing questions, some things I hadn't even thought of before. So you are, yeah, exactly who we love having on the show. And Luke, I just love to hear a little bit of feedback from you. How was your experience today?
It was good. I definitely struggled with just even the concept of loans that didn't require income verification. There was the sort of the joke of the big, what was it? The Big Crash, whatever, that movie about ninja loans that were going to all sorts of people. And I know that restrictions had tightened. And so I felt like I was sort of trapped until I was able to get a 9-to-5, which is sort of the antithesis of what I'm trying to do. So, I definitely feel like there's a clear way forward. As long as we're able to find that property, I'm sure Chris and I can work together to find something that, meets that requirement. And, so I guess it gave me a clear path forward for some things that were a bit cloudy for me.
Awesome. I love it.
And I'm happy to be able to open your guys' eyes, go outside the box.
We appreciate you. Thank you to all my experts for joining. Thank you, Martha, the best co-host ever, and Jenna for supporting us as well today. And all of you who are watching us on Facebook Live today, thank you for joining us. We will see you again tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Take care.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.